Welcome to the Raising Values podcast, where the traditional family talks. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can support the Raising Values podcast through Patreon. Phil and Gillian are behind the mic, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Welcome back to Raising Values.
Good morning, everybody.
We excel in keeping people waiting, apparently.
Just steward.
Just steward.
We just wait. We just like hold out as long as we can.
Yeah, I actually have a little button I can press that makes the show intro take longer, just for him.
I'm glad you're waiting in the comments. It makes me happy to see you. I mean, not see you. Sorry. Yeah. Second cup of coffee. I've only been up for an hour. As you can tell, my voice, like my throat still hurts, so I'm not feeling great. So I've had a week off of school, and of course, I'm sick as a freaking dog.
Cold and flu season kind of kicked the Rabelais family's butts this week.
Well, they started early in the holiday. We had 9 days off, so they started early, like day before we got out. I'm like, okay, I just have a little sniffle. I'm gonna beat this. No, Mama comes down with fever and can't move her body because it hurts so bad. So I'm in bed for 2 days, like Phil's waiting on me, and this is still it. That was Monday. Now I'm here.
But
So I'm trying, guys. I'm here. I'm dressed and I have makeup on.
But the day after Thanksgiving, she did rally enough to Christmasify the house. So I mean,
I did, yeah. So the house looks nice. I don't like to do Christmas after we start school. Like I have to do it the week we're off for Thanksgiving because I just won't have the strength in the next 2.5 weeks. And if you've ever worked in a school or been a teacher, the time between Thanksgiving and Christmas break, there's nothing getting done. There's no learning happening.
And I absolutely refuse under any, there's no threat that will make me cave to this. We are not doing Christmas before Thanksgiving. We are not decorating the house before Thanksgiving. It is law.
See, I am a believer in Thanksgiving is a day. Christmas is a season.
And the season starts the day after Thanksgiving.
Season starts November
The day
1st.
after Thanksgiving. Listen, I even get irate when I hear Christmas music played before Thanksgiving because, like, Thanksgiving.
I agree.
Let Thanksgiving be Thanksgiving.
I think, yeah, it's too early. All right. So tradition. I know we have listeners all over the country, and we do have a couple of listeners around the world, I think.
I'd say
Some,
10
like,
to 15% of our listenership is actually international. Yes.
Okay, so this is the season. This is how it goes here. You have Halloween, right? Okay, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Christmas is the long season, right? All right, so in South Louisiana, and I believe most of the South that celebrates Mardi Gras, you keep your Christmas decorations up until Epiphany, which is January 6th, King's Day. And that is the day that the 3 wise men made it to Jesus. So you keep your Christmas decorations up until then, because that is the first day of Mardi Gras. Well, you're supposed to keep your Christmas up until then. A lot of people just transfer. They just kind of switch. They go from red and green to purple, green, and gold. So they just make their Christmas decorations, Mardi Gras decorations. Y'all, we just had a firehouse built half a mile down the road.
Yeah, they were getting
they
a
are
workout
open and ready for business.
They were getting a workout on Christmas Day. I want to say we had like 2 call outs within an hour of us waking up.
Yeah, so I don't know if y'all can hear the sirens as they pass, but it's been busy.
There
But
are worse
anyway,
problems
so
to have.
we go straight into Mardi Gras season. So this is the season from October till Easter that we eat our weight every day in king cake and sugar and cookies and whatever. And then we always wonder, why didn't we have hot girl summer? No. So, I'm not a big Mardi Gras girl. I don't like to go to parades. I don't see the hype. In fact, I would rather get out of town or hide away in our house for Mardi Gras. I'm not a big Mardi Gras girl, but I will not keep my Christmas decorations up past the first weekend after Christmas. I'll take all that shit down. Like, I'm done. Christmas is over. I don't like the clutter. I love like the music and I do love the decorations, but the 4 weeks of it, Mama's done. It's time to go back up in the attic and I need my house back. So anyway, all that said, we do have to open the show.
6 minutes in.
Well, it's okay. We were talking about fun things like king cakes and Christmas brownies and...
We haven't even mentioned the brownies.
But the brownies are on the table already.
Calling to her.
They're already over there. So.
It's the recipe I shared with those of you who are patrons. That recipe.
While you do that, I'm going to do this. So you talk, and I'll do this part.
Okay, so we still have merch available from the Southern Gals Crafts. The link's down in the show description. If you would like a fun, cheeky t-shirt or something to help support the show and support a small business, that's where you should definitely be looking. I'm sorry.
You ran out of breath.
I'm still fighting this congestion in the back of my throat, but...
Bright lights, big cities. Yeah? Nope.
No,
Anyway.
you have to turn it on within so many seconds of plugging in, otherwise that port goes to sleep.
Ah.
Now you have to turn them, they're both on, but you have to turn them on before, oh goodness.
I told you, I'm getting there. It might need to stay that bright too, by the way. No?
No, turn them all the way down, and then up 3 clicks.
All the way.
Anyway, while we make a complete hash of this whole podcasting thing.
Right? I told y'all we were off.
There is a signal chat for the patrons for Raising Values and for Matter of Facts. If you're curious and you are a patron, you can reach out to me through Patreon or any other way you can manage to get in touch with me. And I can get you dropped into either or both of those chats depending on what your interest is. Raising Values is very wholesome and, thoughtful and sweet. And Matter of Facts is a wonderful mixture of nerd stuff and mayhem. Is that about the best way to put it?
It is the largest gathering of nerds I've ever been a part of. I know that it's not the largest in the world, but it's the largest I've ever been a part of. So I do love being a part of the Matter of Facts group. Y'all are on mute. So if you want to talk to Gillian, you have to @Gillian or private message me. But Raising Values is not on mute because...
they're much more laid back.
It's not as lively.
I can put a couple of people into that chat
good.
to liven it up.
Hey, I think we're all right. We're doing okay. They know how to get in touch with me.
And lastly, Cypress Survivalists. So for anybody that hasn't been paying attention for a while, this is the nonprofit that me and Gillian started with my sister and my brother-in-law. We're going to try to take kind of like the mission statement from Matter of Facts, which was always about educating people in like practical preparedness and survival topics, and we're going to take that into an in-person format. It's the long and the short of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's moving along. We've kind of like done some soft announcements of the first event that we're going to hold, which is March 8th here in Mandeville. But all of those like big announcements are going to happen in January. So I've got to get working on that. My work is never done. No, I'm joking. As I say that to Phil, who put this whole thing together today, because I was in my PJs in the chair last night. Anyway, Cypress Survivalists. It's been interesting. We are learning a lot about owning a nonprofit.
We are learning a lot about governmenting.
Government and governmenting. Yeah. I learned last night that if you want to be tax exempt as a nonprofit, because not all nonprofits are tax exempt, you have to pay the government $275
Sounds like a tax.
for your tax exempt status. How about that? How about that? Yeah. So I was like, negative, not right now, maybe later. But where they get you is if you don't do that, then when you get a donation, the donation's not tax exempt. So kind of holds you up there. But we're gonna make it. We're gonna do it. I think we'll kind of be coming in on three wheels just to only because we won't have the fourth one set down. Does that make sense? I know that
Yeah,
that's not how you use that phrase,
I
but
understand where you're going.
yeah, on our first event. But anyway, I think really right now we just ask for everyone's support in that. So even if you're not in the Mandeville area, please just go to all of our social media.
The links are in the show description.
Yeah, so go to all of our social media. If you're on that platform, please like us and give the page a like, follow, and even just a like on any of the posts. That will help us get more. It'll reach more people. If they see that you're interested, then other people will be interested, and then we can all be friends.
But especially like if you have friends or family or people that you know that are in Southeast Louisiana or the surrounding areas.
Mississippi.
Yeah, like where we're going to host this event in Mandeville is, I mean, it's within a couple hour drive everywhere from Lafayette, Louisiana, all the way to Biloxi. So like,
Yeah.
it's certainly, and it's going to be formatted as a day event. It's not going to be like a multi-day event or anything or like an overnight. So it really is an event that like, if you know people that are like all across the southern chunk of Louisiana, all the way across most of the Mississippi Gulf Coast and as far north as halfway to Jackson, like I would say throw this their way. It might be something they're interested in because we're really going to focus this event down to like mostly towards people that are just coming into this lifestyle. And we're going to try to leave enough meat on the bones that if you've been in this lifestyle for a while, you're going to find something that you hadn't thought of or just hadn't taken the time to learn.
Yeah. And each event will be a little bit different. So, yeah. Anyway.
We have to find a shorter way to do all these announcements.
I mean, we got to tell the people.
I know. So, the season of giving. A week ago, we were talking about being thankful for all the blessings we have, and then we charge headfirst into hurry up and buy stuff for people.
Christmas season comes this time every year. And we know that we're going to have to buy gifts and everything, but I never think in July, oh, why don't I just go on and buy those little soaps or whatever from Bath and Body Works for the teachers in July when they're $1.50 on sale or whatever. I always wait until the last minute, and then it's like I always get Christmas out and go, oh crap, I meant to throw this away and get a new one for this year. And so now we're using twinkle lights that don't twinkle anymore or whatever, but I just don't have it in me to go out and get anything.
But the funny part is that we both remember last year we were talking about getting rid of our old Christmas tree. And we didn't because, illness and sickness and extended family in the hospital. There's been a lot going on the last several weeks. So like that didn't happen. But what did happen apparently is that the tree skirt got thrown away. So we have a red and green Christmas blanket like wrapped around the bottom of the tree as a tree skirt this year.
You know how much I care? I don't.
0.0.
Don't care. It's going to be a different Christmas for us this year.
This is the first year that.
Well, wait a second,
okay.
Because I know that sometimes we have little ears listening.
True.
So Piper has graduated into big girl at Christmas, and so some of the things that you traditionally celebrate with children are are no longer a thing in this house. Part of that makes me sad. Bigger part makes me go, okay, phew, we can do this as semi-adults now. Well, semi-adult for her. I'm an adult. Are you an adult?
Semi-adult.
Semi-adults. But it's funny because her elf still arrived. She's sitting over there. She's in the same position as she was when she first got here, which is great. Mama is not losing sleep over the elf. Yeah, I think it's our first different Christmas. It's also the first Christmas that our child texted us a note from her phone that had all of the wish list items that she wanted for Christmas. So all we had to do was click on links, which, yeah, I love that, 21st century.
The other funny part was, I don't know if you remember, but there was a year where we had to convince her to write a letter to Santa to say what she wanted. Because she had either derived this idea on her own or been told, oh, Santa just automatically knows what you want for Christmas.
Yeah.
And then I had to convince her to write it down.
Yeah, I do remember that a couple of years because she wasn't giving it up. She didn't want to tell us what she wanted for Christmas because Santa already knew what she wanted for Christmas. And I was like, well, Santa needs a letter or something.
Let me just say that recently when she announced to me that she was interested in possibly pursuing a degree in the legal field, she's flirting with the idea of going down that path to being a lawyer. And she's 12. But I tell Gillian all the time, I'm like, by the time I was 12, I knew what I wanted to be as an adult. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't
she's
totally
definitely
dismiss this.
you on that because I mean she's already started researching various tuition at different schools. She's got her eyes set on Harvard, and she's already trying to math out how long it would take her to pay back her student loans if she were to go to Harvard Law. And I'm sitting here going, how many corners can a mother legally work? No, I'm joking. Yeah, so she's got her eyes set high, and anyway, that's where we're at our 12-year-old who's looking at Harvard Law for school.
And she might change her mind next year, but
Never know.
I mean, bear in mind that when I was 12, I wanted to be career military, and then something happened along the way that convinced me that I didn't want to spend my life in a foreign country, and
You know what I was thinking at 12 years old?
You're planning your wedding?
Yeah, I was thinking of that boy that probably sat 3 chairs down from me in math class and how cute he was with the blonde hair and the blue eyes and how could I get him to like me? I was not thinking about what I was going to be when I grow up. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
And then you wound up with no hair and brown eyes and beard.
You had blonde hair at one point.
When I was 8.
Yeah, well, Prince Charming walks in. You didn't have a beard, though. Anyway, we're not even on topic.
Oh, we're so off topic. But the point is, this is our first Christmas with a teenager, if we're being honest.
Well, yeah, she'll be a teenager in May. 13.
She's already a teenager.
She's a teenager.
But yeah, I've always
Like, is there more?
Well, no, I was going to go back to where I started before we went off on a tangent. But that's something that's always kind of caught me off guard about Christmas is that it follows a holiday that is all centered around being thankful for what you have, and then it immediately progresses towards what am I going to get now? And it's always felt very odd to me, but part of what I front loaded in the excuse me one second. Well,
Kyle, don't worry. We've been taking a lot of unkers.
She's-
Your unkers has come in handy.
She's been rubbing herself down in it every night.
No, I have not.
Anyway, but
Weird.
and this is part of what I put in the front load for this topic was like the act of gift giving is a little bit fraught with danger in this house because like Piper's made this very easy for us and very in a very transparent way said I would like any of these things.
She's even put them in order of her desire. I want this one the most, this one the second most, and then it trickles down.
Boy, that little Phil nerd brain is like
It helps.
yeah. But then you get into you and me, and like I feel like we always run into this difficulty because like most of the time. This year you were very forthcoming with I would like any of these things, just like Piper did. And I was like, oh thank Christ. But like normally, under normal circumstances, you're the person that doesn't buy stuff for yourself very often. And you always prioritize no.
No, I'm
Okay.
agreeing with you. I don't.
You prioritize everyone else ahead of yourself.
Ahead
Like
of myself. Mhm.
you literally the other day, the socks.
Oh,
I
yeah.
I do a majority of the laundry in the house, and I was pulling socks out of it, Gillian's socks out of the laundry, and they have holes in them. And I'm like, babe, do you think you need some new socks? She was like, yeah. And I was like, do you think we should go out and get you new socks? Probably. So when we were out that day, like I had to take her to a place to buy socks. But let her little girl say, just mention in passing, I kind of need a new sweater for school. And Gillian will go sweater shopping that moment to make sure her little baby has whatever she wants.
I think that's a lot of parents. I think, especially maybe moms, dads fall into this. But yeah, I mean, we get into where,
Do for everyone but yourself.
yeah, I'm not the only one who does that. I'm sure there's some ladies listening that are like, yeah, I fall into that too. I do. It's just, well, I think that also comes from the type of person I am. You know, I want to make sure everybody's happy and healthy and peacemaker and all that stuff. And so I I I can come later. Like I can work with the holes in my socks kind of thing. Now I have an abundance of socks and nowhere to put them.
You can
But
get
they're so nice.
you can get rid of the old ones and that'll make room.
Yes, I could, but I love them so much.
Anyway, where I
This
was
is what he has to live with, y'all.
but where I was going with this is that this has in the past made gift giving a little bit tricky because first of all, I am the worst gift giver on earth. Like, if you tell me specifically, I want that, I will bust my butt, I will save my money, I will do whatever I have to do to make it happen. But if I am told, just get me something you know I would like, I will run around in circles like a dog chasing his tail and have no earthly idea because I haven't been given proper direction. And because at least once or twice in the past, I bought something and the look on her face told me loud and clear that was not a good gift. And I was just like, oh, swing and a miss.
And it's usually, okay, I'm not a numbers person, I'm not, but Phil will buy one single gift. There's one single gift under the tree for mom. Phil has a couple. Piper obviously has more than that.
I'm having
Mom
a
is-
total Willy Wonka moment. How many gifts are there? Or no, that's Harry Potter.
Mama's stocking is empty, but everyone else's is full. I don't know where I'm going with this. Men, it is your responsibility to fill your wife's stocking.
Also,
Fill your wife's stocking.
Also, men, last year I tried to fill her stocking, but the things I got to fill her stocking wouldn't fit in the stocking. So, just like plan ahead.
And
That
we
was
don't always want chocolates. No, we don't.
they're freaking complicated.
I also sent him the list and I said, do not deviate from this list. Do not get on a website and think, oh, well, that looks similar or that one kind of looks good. No, go to the link, click on the link.
And follow the provided instructions.
Don't deviate from this plan.
But here's the thing. When I'm given that explicit instruction, I can follow that. because I'm a very goal-based person, and I've been given a goal, and I can accomplish that goal, with the exception of one thing that was on your list that is going to be problematic because it's currently out of stock. So
I know which one it is. You just got to keep watching.
I'm already on the list.
Yes. I love it. Look at you. I'm so proud of you.
But anyway, it's one
Now I
of
know
those.
what I'm getting. It's the only one that's out of stock.
But it is one of those things where, like, gift giving for a person who is very selfless is insanely difficult and tricky. And on the flip side of things, you have a problem gift giving for me because I am simultaneously not extremely, there's a word, materialistic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I value things because of what they enable, if that makes sense. Like, I value this thing because it allows me to do this other thing, or I value this thing because it allows us to have an experience together as a family. It's the end result of that is what has value to me, and the material item only has value because it has utility.
Mm-hmm.
But that makes it and the other problem is that I'm so hyper independent. Like, usually if I want something, I'll save my money, I'll go out and get it. So by the time we get to Christmas, you're like, what do you want for Christmas? And I'm like, I have everything I want.
Yeah.
Or I can't afford it. And if I can't afford it, no offense, you can't either, unless you're selling feet pics I'm not aware of.
I'm going to have to start selling feet pics or something to afford this next year, the next 5 years, or even Harvard Law. We're going to have to start selling feet pics. Uh, hey, that'll work instead of working different corners. Anyway, I digress.
Ooh, wow.
I'm just kidding, Mom and Dad. I'm really not doing those things. What was I going to say? Because that totally threw me off.
You threw yourself off.
Well, you started with the feet pics thing.
Me not being very materialistic, me getting things when I want things, not wanting
Oh,
much.
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
There we go.
That is where the matter of facts patrons come in very handy, because I get messages from friends of ours that are like, Phil would really like this for Christmas, or why don't you look at this for Phil for Christmas? Joe was my man last year. Talked to Joe last year. This year, well, and last year, Stuart, he always comes through with an idea. So I got to order some stuff from what he sent. And then Kritzberg, man, was it? Yeah, it was Matt.
Matt Kritzberg,
Yeah.
like 5 years ago.
5 or 6 years ago, I had him make a custom Bowie knife for you. See, and that's my thing. And I do this to myself, especially with you. I have to get unique, crazy, off-the-wall gifts.
And they don't always have to
For
be
you.
like really expensive.
No, they don't.
But you're right. It usually has to be something that I wouldn't think of. Although in the case of that Bowie knife, that was a Bowie knife I had literally tried to contract Matt to make me, and he told me he was too backed up on work, which, to be fair, at the time he was. And then you reach out to him, and he was like, "Okay, I'll slip it in."
Yeah. And it was beautiful. He even made the sheath for it and everything. It was a beautiful knife. It still is, and you still wear it, especially when we go camping
Every
and
camping
stuff.
trip.
But I like to get you like weird, crazy, unique gifts. Got you what is it?
The Viking ale horn.
The Viking ale horn, which sometimes you use, I think is great. Yeah, this year you have no idea what's coming, and
I never do.
I am so excited. I'm so excited about this one gift. But then I'm really happy about your friends on MOF patron feed, the chat that comes through, and it's like, hey, Phil could use this, or Phil talked about this, or Phil needs this, or whatever. Yay friends.
But see, my problem is that, like, I don't want to say guilty. I always feel sheepish, like,
Why?
asking for gifts.
I'm not going to rake you over the coals. Why do you feel sheepish
don't-
asking for gifts?
I don't know.
Because you don't like the attention on you.
Well, I don't like the attention on me. That's just an overriding feature. But I think it's a lot of it also comes from the fact that like, like I can remember growing up. Like I've talked about before, like my family, we were certainly not poor. Not in the least bit. I would say at that point we were probably like middle class to lower middle class. Like we had everything we needed. We were never like, oh, I better roll these pennies so we can pay for milk or, keep the lights on. But like
Sorry.
I can also remember like having to go shop at Oshkosh B'gosh and
Wow,
buying,
you really went back.
yes, and going to the bread store where all the local grocery stores sold their bread that was like a couple of days away from expiring, and we'd go get it there and like keep it in an airtight container to try to keep it fresh a little bit longer. Because when you're trying to feed two boys on one salary with a stay-at-home mom, you got to find a way to make the ends meet. And so for me, it was certainly never anything like my parents put on me. But I always looked around and kind of read the room like I just felt weird asking for expensive things because even at a very young age, I knew what was going on. Which, yeah, my dad and I have talked about that for years, and he's always kind of like quietly lamented that he couldn't give more, couldn't do more because of where we were in our lives at that point. But I've always told him, I'm like, I never felt like we had less or were less.
Yeah.
But as you have pointed out on multiple occasions, I was a weird kid. And how many 8, 9 year olds can just read the room and be like, we don't have a whole lot of extra money. But that was my thought process back
Yeah,
then.
kids know.
Well, and for that reason though, I think that's why I never grew up a materialistic kid. Like I can remember getting the family Nintendo, and the game system itself wasn't the selling point to me. It was the experience of playing and being able to like, trade controllers off and play with the other neighborhood kids, or not my brother so much because I mean Mike and I are 5.5 years apart, so we didn't interact a lot together. You know what I'm saying? Because the age difference. Except for when he would like pull the controller out of the machine and run away laughing. That he thought that was hilarious. But
Yeah.
anyway, so I don't know. Like I always feel weird asking for things. I always feel weird asking, especially if it's something expensive, because to me it's just like that's money that could be spent somewhere else. I don't
I
need
get that.
that.
That's why I'm like, well, won't tell you how much the Bowie knife cost.
I got a pretty good idea of at least what he had to charge you to cover materials.
Yeah, he didn't charge me like regular paying customer price for that, but it was still a pretty penny.
I did I
It's
did
really
re-
pretty on your side, that penny.
I did ask him. I'm like, I don't want to know how much you charged her because that'd be rude as between you and her, but just tell me you took care of her.
Yeah, he
And
certainly
he
did.
told me, he said, I gave her the friends and family special. And I was like, okay. I just wanted to make sure, like, this was a friend of mine, you're my wife. I wanted to make sure he hadn't, you know,
No, he didn't. It was really nice. But see, I grew up in a household where my mother would spend us into the poorhouse to make sure that we had giant Christmas under the tree. There were three of us, three girls. And so and everyone had gifts to open. And I know that I'm not I'm not expecting that level of Christmas commitment under our tree because there's only three of us and like three of us is in one child. And I was always the kid that was like, wow, this is a lot. And I was thinking of, well, weren't we just like looking for pennies in the couch cushions so we could get bread and milk? And I was also the child going, doesn't dad make a lot of money? Why are we pinching pennies to get bread and milk? And then here comes Christmas, and Christmas is, up to the ceiling. And it was always great. And that was always, my mom has always shown her affection for us by buying us things. That was always a thing. Like, as a child, I don't have a lot of memories of her responding to me saying, I love you with, I love you too. That didn't happen until my 20s. But Christmas was always big. It was always like huge. And mom and dad had 3 girls to buy for, a set of twins, and then one who was 5 years older. So it wasn't like she could just buy one thing of this. She had to buy, well, I guess she didn't have to, but if Gillian got the newest Barbie, Gabriel wanted the newest Barbie too. We couldn't share the newest Barbie. Actually, Gabriel was more into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the G.I. Joes, and I was into the Barbies, but only because I like to I didn't like to play with Barbies in the way that Mattel wanted us to play with Barbies.
You lit them on fire and shaved their head.
I shaved their heads, lit them on fires, and G.I. Joe and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would often have to rescue them from whatever.
Boys.
Their fingers were always, like their hands were always melted into these little black, like, post things, like boxing gloves.
So, boys, there's a whole host of things you should find out about your potential spouse before you marry them. I found out about all of this closet sociopathic behavior after we had signed the marriage license. So, just food for thought.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah,
but she doesn't torture animals, at least. So, we're doing okay.
No, I won't go down that road. I was about to say, talk about my squirrels in the back, but so yeah, we always had these big Christmases and then we would leave our house and we would go to my grandparents' house, her parents' house. And it was also big Christmas. I mean, there were things on the tree, there were things under the tree, and you literally had no room in the trunk at the end of the day because there were so many gifts. I can remember one Christmas going to my room. It was like days later, and I found gifts that I hadn't opened yet. Like there was just such an overabundance of gifts. But I will tell you this will always stick with me. And if my sister's watching, she can attest to this. That was my mom's side of the family. That was how they did things. It was always big. When Grandma came and visited, Grandma had a trunk full of gifts for when she visited. My Nana, sweet little Sicilian lady, she was born in the States, so I'm 3rd generation Sicilian. She was born in the States. Her parents came over from Sicily with no money in their pockets, but spoke English because that was her father. Her father said, if we're going there, we have to speak the language. They had no money, none. I remember always getting one gift from my Nana, and that was it. And it was a traditional Sicilian gift. It was a stocking, not even the big elaborate stockings you hang from.
Literally a stocking.
It was literally like a sock. And they got a little bit more elaborate as time went on. It had an apple, an orange, and chocolates. Sometimes it had the orange flavored chocolate in there. And that was like, man, she really pinched her pennies for this. And that was what we got. And I remember her coming to me. I was probably junior high age, so I was probably Piper's age at that point. And she handed me my stocking and she said, I know it's not what your other grandparents can give you, but this is my gift to you. And it was an orange, an apple, and chocolates. And that was my most favorite gift every year. That is what we got. And some nuts. It had like little, I think it had like pecans that you had to crack open and some walnuts and things like. It was just a traditional Sicilian gift, and it wasn't anything elaborate. It wasn't expensive at all, but it was what my grandmother could give me. I just thought that this is it. This is Christmas. Like, this is what this is about. Like, you get these kinds of gifts for that. And And now being a mom and growing up and having our own Christmases, a lot of things happen because a lot of things happen in my brain and in my heart. I often think about, well, there's not enough. Wow, Christmas went really, it was really quick. Like we opened our gifts really quick. It needs to go longer because for 5 people, the way that my mom shopped for Christmas, Christmas morning lasted forever. You know, dad's tradition was always to cook eggs Benedict on Christmas morning. So he was opening gifts and making eggs Benedict in the kitchen. And then we were opening our gifts and everybody, I mean, there's paper everywhere. And then for us, it's like, okay, that's it. You know, we've opened our 3-4 gifts each or whatever. And then that's it. That's so in part of me, I'm not disappointed. Don't think I'm disappointed. It's just kind of like, well, wait, where's the rest of it? But that's okay. That's not what I mean. Like, I'm not saying go out and make us broke over Christmas break.
She's running around in a circle right now.
Well,
we'll get there.
No, I'm not running around in a circle. I'm trying to just explain to you like how I feel, but that doesn't mean go out and make this big elaborate Christmas, because then I think about the stocking that my Nana gave me, and it's like that's all it needs to be. I don't want us to go broke over Christmas. I don't want us to go into credit card debt because, you know, Piper didn't get 15 gifts under the tree and you didn't get 15 gifts under the tree and whatever. Because here's what I've learned as being a parent. In 6 months, I'm putting those things in a bag and giving them away. Yeah. So we're not doing that. And that's how it was in my house. We would pack that crap up and give it away if it wasn't already burnt or shaved.
I do remember a couple of Christmases where I tried to counsel you on you're overdoing it a little bit, and we both know that, you know, that lovey, that stuffed animal is going to wind up getting donated in about 6 months. And this is also why, like, as my daughter got older, whenever she would say, "Oh, I really want that," I'd be like, think long and hard.
Well, and
Because my point to Piper always was, we've gone through this repetition of times of you get the new stuffed animal, it's your favorite thing in the universe until you reach a certain point where the newness wears off, and then we wind up donating it to a family in need, which I love the fact that we're donating the stuff to people that need it and not just throwing it in the trash.
Yeah.
But the point still remains, we have a revolving door of stuff in this house that is costing us money.
Right. Yeah. And I think we've done really good in the last few years about that. And I think it has also gotten easier with Piper growing up. So I don't feel like she has to have all these toys or whatever. I'm also at a point in my life where I am throwing crap away. Like, I don't want the clutter in my house. I keep thinking of one day we're going to move away from this house and I'm going to have to pack it up. Do I want to pack up the clutter? And, you know, my sister-in-law at one point scolded me about the Tupperware underneath our counter. And she said, "Have you touched it in 6 months?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Then throw it away. Like, you don't need it. Give it away, throw it away."
What about the boxes in the top of your closet that you admitted to me we haven't unpacked since we
You know
moved
what's in those boxes?
No.
Books.
Okay, books is different.
You make me the thing that I want in our bedroom.
Bookshelves are on the menu.
And those boxes of books will go away. Yeah, those boxes.
I didn't realize it was books. I just thought it was like I didn't even know I didn't even realize you knew what was in it.
Yeah, it's just books. It's a bunch of books.
Because when we moved out of the apartment, I do remember talking with you, and I'm like, listen, like, you were 4 or 5 months pregnant at that point?
I was 4.
Okay. So, like, you weren't, like, out to here, but you were definitely at the point where I was not comfortable with you, like, killing yourself doing heavy lifting for obvious reasons. And I do distinctly remember telling you, like, look, I will pack the truck. I will get everything down 3 flights of stairs from this 3rd-story apartment. I will handle it. But if I bring one single box from here to that truck to the new house and then you throw it in the trash can, we're going to fight about it. So if there's anything up here you don't want to bring with you, it goes to the dumpster right now.
Yeah.
And there were several things.
There were a lot of things we just threw away.
But that was the time to do it. It makes no sense. Like, if it's got to come down out of this apartment, whatever. It was here for a season, to use your analogy. It served its purpose. It's time to go.
Yeah.
But if I put it in the truck and unload it at the new house and then it goes to the roadside, I'm gonna get aggravated because that's a decision we should have made before today.
That's a whole we were talking about this the other day. That's like a generational thing. I feel like our parents' generation, they hold on to things. Like we were talking about my parents, and eventually the time is coming that they're going to have to go into a home. And the thought of going through their house and going through all of their things really, really makes me just want to light a match and burn the whole thing down. Because I don't want to have to go through the piles of just the generational piles of just crap. It's crap. And a lot of it is just crap. And I don't want to have to go through and be like, okay, we can donate this, or who wants this, or just burn the whole thing down. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it in this house because I'm already doing that to my stuff. Like, I don't want all the clutter. We recently redid our closet. Our closet, the main master closet, y'all, we do not live in a large house at all, just FYI. It is bigger. It is as big as some people's pantries. Like, it's small. It's a little bitty closet. It's a walk-in. You can walk in and turn.
Our closet in the one-bedroom apartment we had was large because that closet was big enough for all of our clothes, and our clothes dresser fit inside the closet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But so we recently redid the closet, and I threw away. It's like, why am I holding on to this stuff? I used to be that person. I used to be like, oh, memento. I have to hold on to this for memories. And it's like, no, I don't. I'm just like, just get rid of it. We don't need it. And, getting back to the topic, when Piper's elf would come, Piper's elf would tell her that she'd have to give to receive. And so I would give her a basket or a garbage bag and say, okay, you have to fill these 3 baskets or these three garbage bags with things to donate before Santa will bring you more things. Why do we live like that? Like, I remember one of those mornings going, I do not want this overabundance of just crap. It's just materialistic crap. That's when, consumerism. And that's when we went to experiences as gifts. We went to things like, we're going to go here, or we're going to go camping, or here's a whole week of this summer camp that you really, really enjoy. And, here's this and that. And it's experiences. We got her a year's membership to the zoo one year, or the aquarium or something. That way we could go whenever we wanted to. Just things like that. Those are the things that we started to do and you can wrap them up in a pretty bow in a pretty box, and they can unwrap them and things like that. But it didn't clutter anything. And it was something that she'll always remember. And it wasn't just a teddy bear that was going to be thrown into a bag and given away so that she could get more teddy bears that Christmas. Did I overdo it?
Oh, no.
Because you rolled your eyes.
No, that wasn't me rolling my eyes. That was me going like, that sounds familiar, like something I might have said years and years and years ago.
I know. I'm there. I gotcha.
I know.
But this year, it was nice to have the links to things. And it a lot of the things that she's getting for Christmas, she will definitely use. We're not going to go into it because she is awake and she is listening, I'm sure.
Yes. I don't want to get into, because first of all, this is on the internet and she could find it if she really wanted to.
She wanted to.
Although she has expressed no interest in either one of our podcasts, so I guess I should be thankful for that so far. But like, what's been interesting to me is to watch this transition she's undergone, where she wants things that have utility. Mm-hmm. Like even some of the things she asked for that she didn't get, it was like decorative stuff because like her room has become like this
nest.
it's kind of become her nest. Yeah, it's like when she has that was her birthday present a couple years ago. She wanted a whole room makeover because she had this idea in her head about this is what I want my room to look like, to feel like. This is my place. She was trying to kind of like establish some, some vestiges of her independence, and that was a big thing for her. So what I'm seeing now is that she wants things that enable her to do things. Yeah. She wants things that have utility, things she's going to use. I mean, like the not that it's ever around when she needs it, but like I got her a stocking stuffer 1 year was her first pocket knife. And I'll be dadgummed if that hasn't gone on a couple of camping trips with us, or her first. I got her the same.
Sometimes she'll put that in her purse and she'll carry it when she's out.
Yeah,
just FYI.
But even like the flashlight
on her person,
the flashlight that I got her, that I carry one, I got you one, the same. I mean, she's gravitating towards things that do things instead of things that are just like fun to squeeze and squish and show off, and then the magic is gone.
Yeah.
She blew me out. One thing I don't want to say out loud, but like it was one of the things I told you I got her that she did not ask for, but I know for a fact she's going to like.
Yeah.
It will be a focal point of Christmas because I just know my child.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those things where it's like it's been interesting to watch this transition from this family kind of struggling with overbuying and buying things that were, I want to say, like a little superficial. Like in the moment, it was a heartfelt gift, but the value of the gift wore off very quickly. And now we're transitioning into a family that looks for things that have sentimental value, things that provide utility or service, things that kind of stick with the user or the recipient for a long time.
Yeah. I think one of my gifts will stick with you for a long time. I can't wait until after Christmas in the show, and I can tell them what what it is, show them what it is. You have no idea what it is. No, sir. No.
But that would stick with me for
Shut
a while.
up. Anyway, what else did you have? Because Phil was the one that picked this topic, because it was 7:30, 8 o'clock at night.
It's been 52 minutes. I'd say we've talked.
I know. I was asking if there was anything in particular that you wanted to discuss that we haven't discussed yet. That's what I was asking.
I really just want to talk through like this whole idea of gift giving, because like, it's today's Sunday, so we're dead center between Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Everyone is running around like a chicken with their head cut off, elbowing, throwing bows in the stores for over TVs and hair dryers and stuff. And this is the point at which a lot of people, like I tend to do a majority, if not all, of my Christmas shopping right now, because I've been in that position a year or two where I waited till like the middle of December and I paid dearly for it. Usually stuff still came in, but it was like a stress sandwich watching the tracking information. So now I'm like, no. We order everything before December 1st. It's all here well in advance. But I just felt like this was the appropriate thing to talk about right now. It's what's going on in this household. Other than like, dying of the bubonic plague, which that's been going on for a week.
Typhoid Mary over here.
That one was patient zero. So.
Oh, I know. Yeah. The kids at school were dropping like flies the 2 weeks before, up to 2 weeks before.
Every day Piper came home, she would tell me which one of her classmates went home sick that day.
Wow.
So I knew our day was coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt like this was the appropriate thing to talk about and share with the listeners, like why gift giving is a little tricky for the two of us, because you so rarely want things or express to me that you want things, and I just don't want for much. Not to mention I just bought a shotgun a couple of months earlier than I had planned to, so there's that.
Yeah.
Thank you, ATF, for scaring me into that one.
Well, anyway.
What have you wanted but never got?
You always have good questions. The the standalone Susie when I was 6 years old. I'm joking.
Well, I know you want that whole like bookshelf reading nook thing.
Yeah, I mean, as an adult, I want the list of things that need to be done around the house to
You got
be
a
done.
faucet yesterday.
I did. I got a new kitchen faucet and it looks very nice. So I told Phil, I was like, here's my list of things for the
Home
tree.
improvement.
But
Oh,
no, I said, here's my list
Sorry.
of things for under the tree. I said, but you can always pull from the home improvement list too. Like we can start, scratching off some of these items that need to be done. Some of them are so glaring and it's like, when can we do this? Some of the projects, like the whole house ceiling needs to be painted. I hate painting. I hate it. I loathe painting. I hate it. I do not want to paint the ceilings.
even though we've painted almost this entire house ourselves by now.
Except for the ceiling. Yeah,
Except for
every
the
house,
ceiling.
every room in the house has been painted. But I don't want to do the ceiling. But it needs to be done. There's just a list of home improvement things that need to be done. And we did get the new faucet finally. We're going to finish the kitchen sink, all that stuff today. The closet has been done. I
We're gonna
would
work on that.
love to have the bookshelf and the new dresser in the bedroom. I would love to focus on our bedroom.
We have to figure that out because in my head, if I could find a dresser like already made that kind of fits what you're after, then I could just buy bookshelves and attach it all together.
Yeah.
As opposed to me having to invest possibly several weekends into trying to custom make something myself.
Well, back to Stuart's question, what have you wanted but never got?
See, my problem is that if there's something I want and haven't gotten, it's because it is so ludicrously expensive. Like, I can't afford it, which means you can't afford it either.
I don't know. Well, I was going to say I've never been disappointed on Christmas morning, but I can remember a time where I was disappointed because,
I got something that was not asked for.
well, that's been a couple of Christmas mornings. But like Phil mentioned earlier, he would wait until the very last minute to order things, and then Mama's Christmas was still in the mail, and so I didn't have things to open under the Christmas tree.
Some years, I hate to say it, but some years that was because like I had to wait until I had the money.
Well,
get
I
those
know,
things.
but
Nice.
I can't think of anything that I've wanted that I'd never got, because if I didn't get it, I would later go get it myself if I wanted it that bad. I'd figure out a way to get it. Trip to Bali. A trip to, I don't know, trips. Don't worry.
I am.
Don't. It's kind of a joke. I can't think of anything, Stuart. I don't know. Anything for you?
I mean,
No.
I'm going to continue to really want that 50 cal rifle.
50 cal rifle.
A 50 BMG.
Oh God. Help me.
Big huge rifle, fires a cartridge about that big, kicks like a mule. I have no practical need or justification for possibly wanting one, but I have wanted one forever, and I will probably always want one.
I told Phil of a gift idea the other day. We walked into the gun store and I said I wanted a new 22 rifle.
I can make that happen. That's affordable.
I want a new 22 rifle.
So the other day, as we round this show out,
Yeah.
the reason I got the shotgun now instead of waiting for a couple of months was because the ATF pulled some shenanigans around the Beretta 1301. And I really wanted an A300, but I started getting a little nervous about are there going to be some shenanigans pulled around the A300 since they're all obviously looking at the 1301 tactical. So I went ahead and bought it earlier than I planned on. Not that we didn't have the money, just, I was putting that off till after Christmas. But while we were there, Gillian just happened to be browsing at a rack full of Ruger 1022s and just casually mentions, like, we should get another 22. That way we can go shooting together as a family. And I looked at the
We go shooting as a family together.
Huh?
We should go shooting as a family together.
How long's it been since all three of us were at the range?
Keep going with your story.
That's
I shouldn't
what I
have
thought.
interrupted.
And I looked at the gentleman who was putting in the order for the A300, and I said, "Don't threaten me with a good time."
Anyway, that would be good,
Somebody come get your girl.
right? All right, guys. That's it. That's all we have for you. Because, that's our morning. So, yeah.
You made this really weird.
I'm always weird. Anyway, well, thank y'all for watching this morning. I hope y'all have fun shopping for your family and friends. Don't be too extravagant. It's not worth it. Don't waste your money. Think about the things that they're going to enjoy, and that's not going to pile up in the corner of their bedroom or whatever in 6 months.
And at the risk of sounding sappy, always remember that from my perspective, the greatest gift is always the time you have. It's the one thing you don't get any more of. It's the most precious thing we have is the years we have on this side of eternity. And the time you get to spend with your family and with your loved ones is always the most heartwarming gift to me. I told you it was sappy.
Philosophical Phil leading us out.
Philosophical.
Yep. All right, guys. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.